Hey everyone, welcome to the post NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2 show here on NoDQ.com. I am Aaron Riff, the owner of NoDQ.com. I am being joined by my longtime partner in crime here on the website, good old JM, Jeff Meacham. How are you doing tonight, Jeff?
I'm doing really well, Aaron. It was a really solid display by all involved NXT tonight. I thought it wasn't going to be what last year's show was, but it was still very, very solid, delivered very, very well.
I enjoyed the show overall. I mean, I told you before we started recording here, I thought the show went by so fast, and that's the biggest difference between Raw and SmackDown and the NXT big events. It flew by. I mean, it felt like 30 minutes to me. I mean, that's how good this show was and how consistently good it was from start to finish. You had some really cool entrances, a lot of great in-ring action. Just it's what you come to expect from NXT at this stage of the game. Very, very solid production from everybody involved, I think.
And that is the big difference between Triple H being at the forefront, being at the helm of the show, compared to Vince McMahon. You're seeing the difference each and every week on television as far as the TV shows every week, and you're seeing the differences in the pay-per-views and the specials. NXT TakeOver happens every quarter, whatever it is, and they deliver every single time. The pay-per-view, granted, SummerSlam looks good tomorrow, but let's be honest, I think they have a lot, even with 13 freaking matches now, they have a lot to live up to now after tonight's show.
Yeah, you only had 6 matches on this card, and every match got time and every match told a story. That's what I like about it. The matches had the big entrances. I mean, really a lot of effort was put into every single match. With the WWE pay-per-view with SummerSlam, it's going to have a lot of matches that are just thrown together without a lot of thought process and just filling up time, basically. That's the big difference. All right, so let's go ahead and break down the matches here and discuss the results. First up, we had No Way Jose, who did get a pretty good reaction from the fans. They do like his entrance, but nothing compared to the reaction that Austin Aries got. The crowd just absolutely loved Aries. They were chanting his name right from the start. He was clearly the fan favorite, even though he's the heel. Austin Aries was just great in this match. I really enjoyed this. Fun way to kick off the pay-per-view. What were your thoughts on this match?
That's what I like about Triple H's booking strategy with NXT. He understands that the people are going to cheer who they want to cheer. He's not trying to force No Way Jose or Ciampa or whoever down our throats. He's going to let people cheer for Austin Aries and Bobby Roode and Samoa Joe and the guys that they want to cheer for. This opening contest showed that No Way Jose, when he's motivated, he can deliver a solid in-ring performance, not just go out there and shake his hips and do the whole dancing thing. Like I said on the pre-show we did earlier this week, he delivered like I thought he would, and Aries won like I thought he would. It was a great match, a great way to start the show, and a great way to get the crowd into it almost right away.
Yeah, and I should note that No Way Jose had the conga entrance with all the people. He had like 10 people doing the dance with him at ringside.
Right.
It reminded me a bit of Adam Rose's entrance with the Rosebuds, the Exotic Express. So I'm just hopeful that this character will have a longer shelf life than Adam Rose once No Way Jose gets to the main roster. I mean, that's my big concern.
Well, I don't think anybody's kidding themselves that No Way Jose is not going to go to the main roster anytime soon. I think No Way Jose is going to be an NXT stalwart, if you will. He's going to stay in NXT until they can do something with him besides make him the next Adam Rose.
Exactly. So, he's an entertaining part of the NXT shows. The fans have a good time when he comes out. There's really no need for him to move to the main roster at this time. So definitely a nice win for Austin Aries. And then the appearance of Hideo Itami coming out and making the save. Austin had beat down Jose post-match, and Itami came out and hit the GTS on Austin Aries. So it looks like that is going to be one of our next big feuds in NXT. And the announcers, I think it was Corey Graves, one of them mentioned that, in fact, that Itami was the originator of that move, and CM Punk used that move as a tribute to him. So that was a cool moment that they acknowledged that. My hope is that, once Tommy gets to the main roster and he does that move, you're going to have some of those fans being smartasses and chanting CM Punk. That's the one issue with that. Even though Tommy did come up with that move, I could still see some fans starting that chant. But no fans did it in Brooklyn, so that was good.
As the NXT fans and the New York City Brooklyn fans realize where that move came from. And, a lot of people are really down on CM Punk. Yeah, they still chant for him every now and again, but nowhere near like they did when he first left. People realize that Punk is what he is. He's a punk. And he's not getting as many reactions from WWE crowds. And when he goes to Cleveland, when you guys go to Cleveland to watch him fight, I'd be very surprised if people, if he does lose, don't just really crap all over him.
Well, we'll see about that. I mean, maybe Chicago will chant CM Punk if the Tommy does the GATS, but that's down the line. It could be a year or so before Tommy ends up on the main roster. Moving on here, the second match was Ember Moon making her big debut, defeating Billie Kay. Just a basic match to showcase Ember and her debut, and her finisher was interesting. It was a move she did off the top rope. She twisted in midair and then hit a stunner. I thought it looked really good. I mean, it already looked better, first time seeing it than any of John Cena's springboard stunners. So, it'll be interesting to see how Austin reacts to it. But I thought it looked really good. I mean, she did it really well, and it was a nice showing for her in her debut match. What were your thoughts?
I thought it was a great showcase for this talented lady. She has been doing great things in the independent circuit since she left Booker T's school a few years ago, and she's awesome. And that springboard corkscrew stunner really, I didn't realize what had happened at first. I kind of turned away and came back. All of a sudden, Billie Kay was unconscious, and I went back and watched people like, whoa, that was some heavy duty shit that she just laid down. That was pretty awesome. I wonder what Stone Cold thinks of that.
Yeah, so I thought it was really unique. I liked it a lot. So I thought it was good. Solid match here. And then we had Bobby Roode against, how do you pronounce his name?
Andrade Cien.
Okay, thank you for that. I always have trouble pronouncing some of these names. That's just the way I am.
No worries.
Bobby Roode was something else here with his entrance. He had this platform that he lowered from. And as I expected, the crowd was singing his theme song, Glorious. I even put on Twitter, in one entrance, Bobby Roode came off as a bigger star than the entire time he was in TNA. And I even posted the Dixie crying picture, which I like to do ever so often. And it got something like 400 retweets. I thought the entrance was amazing. Bobby Roode looked like a major superstar in one night. Perfect debut for him, I thought. Crowd was chanting his name like crazy. I mean, Bobby Roode was super over, even though he called Brooklyn the armpit of New York City. They still cheered for him like crazy. And his finisher was a pump handle slam, which was called the Glorious Bomb. A lot of people were critical of this finisher just because, it's Road Dogg's finisher, basically. What did you think of that being the finisher for Bobby Roode?
I thought it was a little lackluster. I think that Bobby Roode is capable of so much more than a simple pump handle slam into a pump handle into a slam move. But you know what? If that's going to have to be the Glorious Bomb, I think, like you said in your retweet, like Dixie is lamenting right now, he is more over tonight than his entire, whatever it was, 10 or 12 years with TNA. In one night, he was a made man. He made himself, and WWE NXT made him a bigger superstar than he's ever been. And he had 15,000 plus people singing his theme song as a bad guy. That speaks volumes.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Great debut for Bobby Roode on the NXT roster on a major pay-per-view like this. He's definitely going to be a big deal. He should be on the main roster as soon as possible, in my opinion.
I just have to ask you, Aaron, before we go on here, which chant means more now? Is it more of "This is awesome," or should we all chant "This is glorious" from now on?
I say let's do the "This is glorious" chant now, just because it's something different.
I think we should. Let's get behind the hashtag "This is glorious" on NoDQ.com's Twitter from now on.
Exactly. I totally agree on that, because I think "This is awesome" is played out. But, the fans on this show, I will give them credit. They did save the chance for when they were deserving, I felt. Sometimes on Raw, you have these fans start up the chant for just your basic match, and there's like 2 near falls, and then everybody's chanting it. This crowd definitely saved the chance for the big moments, which was good.
Other than the prolonged humming along of Nakamura's theme, I agree with you.
Yeah. All right, so next up we have what I felt was the match of the night. I think you would agree with me as well. The tag team match, The Revival versus Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. This was like your classic old school tag team match. It started off slowly paced, and they just slowly built up the drama and the intensity. And, the old style where the heels cut the ring in half and work over the guy. And the false hot tag where the referee doesn't see it. And then finally you get the big hot tag. It reminded me a lot of like a late 80s NWA tag team match, very similar in that style. And, the Revival get the comparisons to Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. I really enjoyed this. It was a nice change of pace, something we don't really see in modern tag team wrestling a lot. And, everything meant something in this match. Everything was paced very nicely. I thought it was really well worked. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome." Tons of near falls. And because they'd spent so much time building up to the hot tag and all that stuff, the near falls got incredible heat. The fans were really into the near falls a lot. There's no way for me to criticize this match. I mean, it was amazing. What did you think?
You mentioned the old NWA booking of the tag team division back in the Crockett days.
Dusty,
who has NXT been modeled after and been patterned after, and who's been the godfather of NXT?
Yeah, well, there was even I don't know if you saw it. Somebody had the giant picture of Dusty's face out there.
What's funny is I read somewhere today on Facebook that Cody used one of those Dusty Fathead as a weapon in his match last night at the Ball.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
I was like, oh, geez. So there was that. Yeah, this was booked as a great tag team battle, heels versus baby faces, good guys, bad guys. You had just hot tag and false hot tag, and you had unbelievable chemistry with these two teams back and forth. It really felt like I was watching an NWA tag team title match from 1987. It felt that good to me. It was awesome.
And Gargano and Ciampa had the match one with a double super kick, but the foot was on the rope, so it was like a Dusty, false finish there again with everyone
totally.
So it worked really well. The execution was about as close to perfect as you could ask for, and Revival worked over the knee of Gargano and forced him to tap out with a reverse figure 4. So yeah, this was great. I mean, like I said, no real way that I can criticize it. I mean, they went out there and just worked a tremendous match. Just awesome stuff.
Easily the match of the night.
Yeah. Definitely worthy of that chant, I thought.
Yep.
All right, and next up we had Asuka versus Bayley for the women's title, and we all expected going in that Asuka would retain, and this would be Bayley's swan song, and that's definitely what it came off as. Asuka retained the title. Bayley showed a lot of intensity in this match. She was, wanting to have her kick her right in the face and punch her in the face, and she wanted all the punishment, and she just kept fighting. But in the end, Asuka was able to get the win with the kicks, and afterwards you had the two of them hug each other, and Bayley hugged Sasha Banks and Becky and even Charlotte. The crowd booed Charlotte, by the way, which was funny. Bayley pointed at the NXT sign when she was on her way out. So yeah, it does seem like that's the end of her in NXT, and she'll be on the main roster imminently, which she should be. After Battleground, that was very obvious. So anything else you would like to add about this match? Your thoughts?
People didn't expect it to be as good as Bayley and Sasha, and it wasn't, but it was damn near more intense.
Yeah.
Really just turned it up a notch or 3 and beat the holy dog out of each other. And it was awesome to watch two women in professional wrestling, which is what NXT is, just go to town on each other. It was awesome to see that go back and forth the whole way.
Yeah, and like Bayley has like this character that's super nice. So to see her show a more aggressive side and wanting to take the punishment. And, even her ponytail came loose, she was showing more intensity than usual, and she was in the fighting spirit. So yeah, I thought it told a really good story. And again, one of those situations where you lose and you actually end up a bigger star when it's over, even in a losing effort. I mean, that's how well this was done.
Yep.
And then we had the main event, Samoa Joe versus Nakamura for the NXT title. Nakamura got the big entrance with a live violinist, which I thought was really cool. Crowd was just eating this up. They were humming the song. I think you mentioned earlier maybe they were overdoing it a little bit. Yeah, they were really into it. They love that song, and I cannot blame them. I think it's one of the best entrance themes WWE has produced in a long time. Match itself I thought was very good, but to me it did feel a little bit short of being a classic. And it really had a tough act to follow, with the tag team match. But still, very good stuff from these two. Very intense back and forth action between these two. Nakamura took Joe to Suplex City at one point with a pretty sick-looking German suplex. And that was a highlight for me. They kicked out of each other's moves. Nakamura kicked out of the Muscle Buster, and then Nakamura hit the Kinshasa. Joe kicked out of the first one. He hit a second one. He might have hit three. I might have missed it because I saw somebody say he hit three. It was at least two, possibly three. And
it was two.
It was two. Okay. So he hit two of them, and that was enough to put Joe away. Now, the big story here, perhaps, besides Nakamura winning the title, is after the first one, I believe, a lot of people noted that the referee put up the X sign. And several people that were there at the show told me that Joe appeared to be legitimately hurt. Possibly he injured his jaw, hopefully not broken. But yeah, apparently he got hit pretty hard with that kick. So, NoDQ.com will have you updated with the very latest. Make sure you stay tuned for any updates regarding that. And overall, what were your thoughts on this match?
We were talking before we went on the live recording here that you were saying it was a little short, came up short. I thought it told a great story from start to finish. I thought you had the entrances, which were unbelievable. And let's not discount Joe's theme for 1 minute here. Yes, the crowd was doing the whole way through Nakamura, but Joe's intense music just reverberated throughout the whole Barclays Center and really through our TVs. I thought it really showed through as something special, and his entrance was intense. And then you had just an unbelievable match between two of the most dominant guys of the strong style variety in modern professional wrestling history go to war. Yeah. And it took two Kinshasas, or how the hell you say that word, for Joe to be put down. Is he hurt? Does this mean he's going to be called up later? Time will tell. But I thought that both these guys told an unbelievable story, and I think that they're really going to be going with Nakamura as the champion now, and he'll be a dominant champion for the next indeterminate amount of time.
Right. Now, you feel that last year's show was better?
I do.
Right now,
I do.
Right now, go ahead.
I would say last year, I think there was, you had Balor and Owens, you had Bayley and Sasha, you had a great undercard underneath them, you had Joe's debut, you had all these things that were happening that really made the first Brooklyn show special. This one was a very, very, very good show, but if you compare the two side by side, I think last year's ekes it out, but it's a close finish.
Right. Well, right now on the NoDQ.com poll, it's very close. It's 52 to 48%, slight favorite for last year's version. And this show is obviously fresh in everyone's minds, so I think
right.
time people will remember the first one more. But still, like I said, really solid show. I was thoroughly entertained for almost 3 hours. Like I said earlier at the beginning, it felt like 30 minutes for me. It wasn't a chore at all. Sometimes with the WWE pay-per-views, they go on and on and on, like Cesaro says, and there's just a lot of segments that you feel were filler. Nothing felt like filler on this show. Everything felt important, and that's what really counts.
It's just so funny. I've been arranging with my dad to go pick up Dylan at his mom's tomorrow, trying to get back in time to see the whole SummerSlam show. I'm going, do I really want to come back here and sit here for 6 hours? in front of the TV.
And everybody on the show, even if they lost, they had a solid outing, and everyone was put over, even the people that lost. It's not like, when you're watching
Exactly.
guys get buried left and right. I hate to use that term all the time, but there are guys that are just thrown out there, and there's no dedication to their character development, nothing, and there's no reason to care about what they're doing. So that is one of the main reasons why I love watching these NXT shows, just to be able to just enjoy a show and not have to get a headache watching it.
I do like so far that, with the exception of Kevin Owens for a brief time in his main event run, everybody that Triple H has nurtured and taking care of NXT, it's been brought up, has gotten their time from WWE, be it on Raw or SmackDown. They've gotten their chance, and now with the brand extension, they're getting more of a chance. I hope that when Joe goes up, when Bailey goes up full time, when all these people go up, that they will get the attention, because Triple H is sitting down here in Orlando with the trainees and everything, just crafting this organization within the WWE umbrella. And then you have these people come up to either Raw or SmackDown, and for a while they're getting lost in the shuffle, it seems like, but now they're really getting the attention they deserve.
Well, yeah, definitely, and I'm just hopeful that they're careful about when they bring up these guys. I want to see like many of them on the main roster now, but at the same time, you do not want to introduce too many people in a short period of time, because that's how guys do get lost in the shuffle. So you want to be careful and wait for the right timing with a lot of these guys. But I think Joe should be there. Hopefully he's not seriously hurt. Bailey, obviously, and I think Aries and Roode, and even Nakamura now that he's champion. But I think by early next year, Nakamura should be on the main roster as well.
Well, the problem is, if you bring up too many guys, also not only they get lost in the main roster shuffle, but NXT seems depleted by definition at that point.
Yeah, so you got to take your time with it, even though a lot of these guys are just as good as the people that are currently there right now.
Absolutely.
All right, so that'll wrap it up for our thoughts on the NXT pay-per-view. Again, NoDQ.com will have you covered with the latest regarding that show, and we will have live coverage tomorrow night. We're back at it again. No sleep until after Brooklyn. I'll be tweeting. I'll be posting the updates on NoDQ. Follow Jeff at _Jeff Meacham on Twitter. Any other plugs before we sign off?
Same thing on Instagram, _Jeff Meacham on Instagram, and just be looking out for Talk Wrestling and After the Bell this coming week, because it's going to be good. All righty. So on that note, we will sign off here. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.